Hey everyone, in this video I want to talk about the new PMP exam update from PMI because a major update is coming in July 26. And honestly, if you are planning to take the PMP, this is something you should know now. So let's keep it simple. PMI is launching the new PMP exam on July 9th. That means if you want to take the current version of the exam, you need to do it before July 8th. That date matters because a lot of people are studying right now and wondering, should I continue with the current content or should I wait for the new version? And the answer really depends on your plan. If your exam is coming up soon and you want to get certified before July 9th, then just stay focused and continue with the current version. But if you are planning to take the exam later, then you should definitely start paying attention to the updated content. Now, what exactly is changing? PMI says the new exam will include more focus on things like artificial intelligence, sustainability, and stakeholder engagement. So, this tells us something very clearly. The exam is moving more toward real business life and less toward just memorizing project management concepts. In other words, they don't only want to know whether you understand all the processes. They also want to know whether you understand value, outcomes, business context, and how projects actually work in the real world. Another major change is the exam domain weighting. In the current version, the people domain has a bigger share and process is the heaviest one. But in the new version, business environment becomes much more important. That's probably one of the biggest change on the page. So, if you are the kind of person who usually focuses only on processes, tools, formulas, and agile terms, that may not be enough anymore. You will need to think a little more broadly. You will need to understand how projects connect to strategy, to business goals, and to organizational impact. That's a different mindset. PMI also says the exam will still include predictive, agile, and hybrid approach, which is good because that part is not disappearing. But they also say there will be more emphasis on adaptive, real world project situations. So, again, the message is pretty clear. The exam is becoming more practical, it's becoming more scenario driven, it's becoming more about how a project manager thinks in real situations, not just what definitions they remember. The exam format itself stays familiar in one sense. It will still be 180 questions and you will still have 240 minutes. So the length is not really the big story here. The real story is the style. PMI says the exam will be more interactive and more scenario based. So even if the number of questions stays the same, the thinking style may feel different. You may need to analyze more, interpret more, and make better judgments based on project context. Now, let's talk about timing because this part is really important. PMI says updated learning resources will start becoming available on April 14th. So that means if you want to prepare for the new exam, that's when you should start looking at the refreshed materials. And again, the actual new exam goes live on July 9th. So basically, April is the start of the new preparation phase, and July is the start of the new exam itself. There is also one more thing that I think many people will care about, especially training providers and students who take live courses. PMI says the 35 contact hours are still required for the PMP application. That part is not going away. But later, in late fourth quarter of this year, PMI plans to change the rules for live training. According to PMI, live PMP training hours will only count if they come from a PMI authorized training partner. That's very important point. Because right now, many people take live PMP training from different providers, but after that rule change becomes active, not every live course may count anymore. PMI also says self-paced courses can still come from any organization, which is another important detail. So, if you are a student, this means you should check your training provider carefully in the future. And if you are a trainer, this means you really need to follow these changes closely. So, what is my overall take on this? Honestly, I think PMI is trying to make the PMP more connected to today's business world. Projects are no longer just about schedule, scope, and cost. Now people are talking about artificial intelligence, sustainability, business value, stakeholder complexity, change, and adaptability. And PMI clearly wants the exam to reflect that reality. So, this is not just a content update, it's also a mindset update. If I had to summarize everything very simply, the PMP exam is becoming more business focused, more practical, and more connected to real project environments. So, if you are preparing for the exam, this is the time to decide which version you want to target. If you want the current version, your deadline is July 8th. If you want the new version, start following the updated materials from April 14th. And whichever road you choose, please do not panic. The foundation of project management is still there. What is changing is the emphasis. That's the key point. If this video helped you, don't forget to subscribe and let me know in the comments, are you planning to take the current PMP exam or will you wait for the new version? Hope to see you in the next video. Bye.